So for this session, we will talk about active learning strategy, which is storytelling. And the topic that we would focus on is fractions in general. But in this particular thing, in this particular story, we are trying to learn how to write a number as a fraction. So now I start the story. So there is, as you see in the screen, there is a woman who came to a shopkeeper looking for a dupatta. Now she wants to buy a dupatta which is very beautiful, and she asks the shopkeeper to give her the dupatta that is black in color and is very beautiful. Here you go. The shopkeeper brings out very nice dupatta and shows it to the lady. The lady thought for a second and she thought that I want to buy this dupatta, and she asked the cost. Shopkeeper told a price that the lady thought she cannot pay. He told her that the dupatta costs 1,000 rupees. The lady was annoyed, and what she did was she picked the dupatta and cut that dupatta into two. Now, the shopkeeper was angry, but he didn't say anything. He looked at the woman, and the woman thought that, now I can take this dupatta because the shopkeeper would say, this is of no use. Nobody would buy a torn dupatta. So she asked the shopkeeper, what is the price? And the shopkeeper did not respond. She got more annoyed, and what she did to 4 sections and asked the shopkeeper how much this dupatta now costs. The shopkeeper was sad and he started crying. Looking at the shopkeeper crying, the lady thought that she did not do a good job by tearing the dupatta up into 4 pieces. And she apologized and said sorry to this young man and said, you do not need to cry. I will pay you the price. She pays the price, asks for forgiveness, and leaves the place. So what is the moral of the story? Okay, so moral of the story can be that you should not be bad to someone else. There has to be time where you reflect on your own actions, and it is, if you can mend them, if you can correct them, you should correct them, right? So these 2 are the key morals of the story. Now going back to the learning outcome, which was writing the number as fractions, I would like you to now stop the video here, go back to each screen. Each screen is labeled by the number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and see how can you express that dupatta as a number. So for example, if you go to the first screen, there is no dupatta. So what number would you write? 0, right? So I would ask you to go back to the second, third, and fourth screen as well and note down how would you express the piece of the dupatta as a fraction. Thank you so much for listening. I just created this story on PowerPoint just to help students see how they can write the particular sections as as fractions. So, and here I reveal the answers. So the answers, sorry about that. The answers are, the first scene had no cloth piece, if you remember. The second scene had 1 cloth piece, right? That was selected by woman saying the black, beautiful dupatta, right? And then the original cloth piece that was selected was torn into 2 halves. So 1/2 is the expression. It was further torn into 2 pieces, like the 2 were further torn into 2 more. So in total, there were 4 pieces. So that can be written as 1/4 pieces of the whole dupatta. So there were 4 1/4 of the dupatta. Okay. So just to grab your attention back to the digital storytelling, what I did here was used an age-old method of storytelling that was used for teaching, and it's still used for teaching. I used that method put the PowerPoint presentation together, picked up the images from Google and make it look like a coherent story, and narrated the story and had some questions within. If you see, I used pitch variation, which means I was varying my tone and the pitch. I had a learning outcome at the beginning of the story. I generated the curiosity of the students by asking questions. And it was a very real life example that students might have encountered. I provided the feedback by saying, go to the first screen. What is how would you express it as a number? So 0 dupatta, for example, right? And I could provide further feedback. And if, for example, I upload this video on YouTube, in the comment section, I can provide further examples. The last slide that I showed you as a feedback, I can upload that slide, or provide the link so that they can check their answers. It is very important that you have clear instructions. For example, pause or write, or go from the first screen. You watch all the screens and find out how would you write the number, how would you express the dupatta as a number expression, or a fraction, or how would you express it as fraction for each screen. So you notice the numbers were written on each screen so that the students can go and see which screen I'm talking about. So they can express each scene on each screen as a number, and they can check the answers then. So yeah, this was one of the strategies that you can use in the breakout groups. You can give them the pre-recorded video, and you can ask them to do the worksheet, or you can create some certain kinds of stories and share it with the students as videos, or you can do it in the live classroom, where with all students together, you can show the video and ask them to write and show their answers on the paper. It depends on how do you want to go about it, but this is one method of engaging the students with the content of mathematics through their brain-based activity, that is, they're listening to the story and responding. Thank you for listening. This section ends here. Bye-bye.